literally was stomps, like footsteps above my head, and someone ran above my head.
I heard you riding with the same tall Hi
guys, welcome back to my channel. So today is a very different video for my channel, but it's something that I am so interested in, so hopefully you guys are as well. I also just want to say, if you can hear background noise, we are actually having a storm in the UK at the minute. If you live there, then you know, and the wind is literally horrendous, so if you do hear any background noise, that's what it is, sis. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing all of my paranormal experiences that I have ever been through in my life. Some of these are very personal, and I'm going to be revealing some very personal information about myself, so if you guys could be a little bit respectful in the comments, then that would be appreciated. But personally, I just have such an interest in the afterlife and paranormal. I'm a bit of a freak, I know. Me personally, I love watching videos like this, and even just hearing other people's ghost stories. I just find it really interesting. If you do as well, then obviously let me know down in the comments below, because I have so many stories. I don't actually think I'm going to be able to put them all in this video. So by the end of this, if you do want to hear more, then please let me know. I'm sure I have my fair share. I've actually wrote some notes in my phone because I just don't want to forget everything that happened. I am just going to start off with my first paranormal experience, and this one isn't too scary. It's just a bit weird, and I guess it can have another answer for why it happened, but literally to this day, everyone in my family say that they didn't do it, and they're all as confused as I am. Okay, so I am going to set the scene a little bit just so you kind of have some background information. If any of you didn't know, I actually live with my grandparents. I have done all my life. My mum and dad got divorced and moved out of my home when I was about 8 years old. So me and my two brothers lived with my nan and granddad in the house that we originally grew up in. So this takes place around Christmas time. I think I must have been about 12 years old. Me and my nan were actually sat downstairs in the living room, I think watching like Wild at Heart or something. I have a really vivid memory of it being that TV show, so I'm just going to assume it was that. And my brothers were upstairs in my brother Ben's room actually playing on the PlayStation. So as me and my nan were sat down there, we just kept talking about how loud the boys were being. They just kept banging, and we just kept hearing like things being thrown on the floor. And my nan eventually said to me, once you go upstairs, can you just tell the boys to be a bit quiet? Now back then I was actually obsessed with my DSI, so I thought while I'm on my way up, I may as well just go get my DSI as well. And basically at the top of my stairs there is a mirror. I can kind of, I guess, draw a little diagram here of what that is and what it looks like, just so you kind of get a rough idea. And as I was walking up the stairs, I didn't really notice anything different. I wasn't really looking at my surroundings. I think I was on my phone or something, so I was just walking up the stairs. And when I say phone, I mean Motorola phone, like the little flip up ones, because yeah, your sis didn't have an iPhone back here. So obviously I went into my brother's room and I said, look, can you just be a bit quieter? Me and Anna are watching TV and you're being really loud. They were both literally just sat on the bed with their consoles like...
What the hell are you talking about?
They said they were just sat there playing their PlayStation and they wasn't even moving about, so they didn't really understand where I was coming from with that. I just shrugged my shoulders and I was like, okay, whatever. From the walk down to my brother's room, I also passed my room, and my room's right next to the stairs, so I obviously was going to take a detour to get my DSI. And as I went to turn into my room, this is literally giving me shivers because I'm thinking about it again. The mirror that was at the top of my stairs was placed in front of my room in the walkway, face up, so that the mirror was facing upwards. Bear in mind, this was a big ass mirror, so it's not like I could just step over it to get into my room. So my door was wide open and this mirror was just there, and I was like, right, so that's where all the banging was coming from. My brothers have obviously played a prank on me, so I thought I'd go and have a go at them a bit. And I went back into their room and I was like, seriously, that isn't even a joke. That mirror's been there for about 23 years. And my brothers had no clue what I was on about. They even came out to look at what I was talking about because they were actually that confused. And I showed them and they literally were like so scared because they thought I was playing a joke on them instead. They had no clue what I was talking about, and they didn't even understand how it would end up getting there. None of us touch this mirror. We don't even give it a second thought. It's just like an accessory in our house. So for that to be there in front of my room and it hasn't been moved for so long was just so weird. Anyway, I went downstairs and told my nan, and she obviously moved the mirror back into place. That was like my first ever weird experience, I guess, with my house that I used to live at. My nan and granddad do currently still live there, so I'm sure my nan's gonna love me telling the internet these stories, because me and her always talk about ghost stories all the time, and we definitely think our house is haunted. The next thing that actually took place at my house was when my oldest brother Dan actually moved to university. His bedroom is the attic of the house. We kind of just made it out into a bedroom, so at this point it was completely empty and just had a bed and a few boxes in, because obviously he moved all of his stuff out to move to uni. And I think it had been like a week since he'd moved out. The house was quite dead. My other brother didn't live here at this point as well, so it was just me and my nan in the house again. My nan was actually in her bedroom. Her room is next to mine, and I basically walked from my room all the way to the bathroom, which I go past my room, my nan's room, my brother's room, and then the attic door, and then we turn around the corner and that's where the toilet is. So I go to walk into the toilet, and bear in mind, now that my brother doesn't live there, we keep the door to his room shut because there's no point for it to be open. This door was open, and this door is such a stiff door to open. I remember every time I used to go up and see my brother, I'd always have to pull it so hard. So if this be open, I didn't really think anything much of it. I just kind of shut the door again, and as I shut it and went to go back into the bathroom, it opened again. It was like there was wind or something pushing it open, but as I said, it was a stiff door, so this wouldn't really have been the case. So I went to shut it for a second time, and sis, I can't even explain to you what the noises were that I heard. The noises were kind of like a nursery rhyme, but like chimes, and it was just so weird. Like, I can't even describe to you what it was, but I heard some sort of nursery rhymes coming from my brother's bedroom. Bear in mind, I'm scared of this room anyway because it was always just pitch black up there. Obviously an attic would be, and I just didn't like it because it was just creepy and always cold, and it was a nice room. Like, don't think we literally like forced my brother into living there. He did want to live in there. So when I heard these noises, I literally ran straight into my nan's room, and I was crying, and I didn't even know what to do with myself. I was like, Nan, there's either someone in Dan's room or there's something up there. Like, I don't know what it is. And my nan isn't really scared of these sort of things. She's told me in the past that she's kind of seen a lot of things in her life, so she doesn't really get scared by paranormal stuff anymore, and even just weird stuff in general. My nan just isn't scared of it. So I walked with her to the door, and she was like, we'll just go up and have a look what's up there. He could have left something on TV or something. Even though it had been a week, I guess she was just trying to cure my mind. So we went up there, and there literally wasn't anything up there at all. There was cardboard boxes with like teacups in, or I don't know, just some old wrestling stuff that he had in his room, and his bed. That was literally all that was there. There was no electronics or anything like that, so it definitely wasn't anything that had accidentally gone off. So that was a very weird thing to happen. Me and my nan both went back downstairs, and we just shut the door and forgot about it really. At this moment in time, I had a best friend called Tiona, and she used to come over to my house all the time. And this one day she came back after school, and I thought, do you know what, I'm gonna tell her the weird thing that happened the other day. So I began to tell her, and we came out of my room, and I literally like traced my steps of us walking back through the corridor, and how like I went to go into the toilet and everything, and I literally was retracing my steps exactly. And as I was telling her, oh my, it literally is giving me goosebumps. Like, this is scaring me again so much. I think it's just because this is probably the most surreal one. Obviously the stories later in life are worse, but at this point in time it was the most surreal one to me. I literally just finished telling her that I heard the nursery rhymes, and I was about to say me and my nan went upstairs to go check what it was. And when we were stood in the hallway, I literally feel like I'm gonna cry. Like, that's how scared. I'm remembering how scared I was. We literally heard footsteps run above us, like on the floor above us, and they were so loud. It was like someone was up there and they were just like running. And oh my god, I've never seen us both be so scared. I pushed her to the side, she pushed me to the side. We both like ran into my room and shut the door. Like, it was just so scary. And I don't even think my nan was in the house at this point. I think she was around our next door neighbours, and my granddad wasn't in either. So we were both absolutely petrified. And I think the fact that no one else is in the house just made it even more scarier, because obviously being home alone when you're younger, I know year 9 isn't really like a young age, but being home alone when you're younger used to scare the crap out of me. Like, I used to be so petrified. So yeah, that is the third weird thing that has happened in my house. I don't really understand how you'd explain the footsteps. Yeah, I know some people might be saying it's piping and things, but it literally was stomps, like footsteps above my head, and someone ran above my head. There's no way you can even explain that. So the next thing that I can really think of that's quite, not really recent, but it was before I moved to uni. I think I was in 6th form. There wasn't really that much that happened in our house, to be fair, apart from just some stuff with my dog. Basically, whenever my dog gets scared, he like runs to the bottom of the garden and things, and he just stays there for a few hours, and he's shaking, and it's just like he's been startled by something. Normally it's whenever the oven gets turned on, because I think there must be some high-pitched noises that we can't hear that he can. But other times he'll literally be like growling at the corner of the room, and we just don't know what the hell he can see. So apart from things like that, nothing really happened in between what happened with my friend and this situation. Now this one that I'm about to tell you is probably the scariest one that I have ever witnessed, ever. These last two are really serious, and I'm literally scarred for life because of them. But I don't know, the last one is kind of like a blessing in disguise, but we'll get to that. So I think I was in 6th form when this happened. I was quite a lot older than the other 3 occurrences Experiences, and I was just in my nan's room talking to my nan. She was sat on the bed and I was stood by the TV, and as I was talking to her, I can basically see the hallway through her door. We have a long landing and everyone's doors open up onto this hallway. As I was talking to her, in the corner of my eye, just like I can see the rest of my room right now, the corner of my eye, I could see a figure in the doorway. And as I was talking to my nan, I just froze and I said, "Nan, there's somebody in the doorway and I don't know who it is." And again, my granddad wasn't in the house at this point. My granddad's a builder, and basically if he's not out building something for someone, he'll be at the allotment or he'll be down the garage making something of some sort. So I'm not actually too sure what my granddad was doing, but I just knew that it wasn't him. So this person in the doorway, I don't really know how to explain them apart from they were really tall, their arms were really long, and it looked like they were wearing a cape, but I couldn't see a hood. They were just all black and their figure was just really long and stretched, and it was like they towered over. And by towering over, I also mean that it was like they were too tall to even be in the hallway. Like their head was kind of like this because they were too tall for the hallway. It sounds so weird, but basically Slenderman, I guess, is the only way that I can describe this person. And I literally said to my nan, "Nan, there is someone in the hallway and it's not Grandad and I don't know what to do." And I'm not even joking, my nan just went, "Okay, stay calm." And I was like, "Okay." She went, "Move around to me a little bit more." So I moved around. She said, "Is he still there?" And I was like, yeah, he's still there, like I can see him." And I was getting really scared, thinking that there was some intruder in our home. And obviously you would, like if you saw anyone in your hallway that wasn't supposed to be, you'd literally be freaking out thinking it's a robber trying to, you know, come and attack you or something. So I was fully freaking out, and my nan was so calm. She just kept telling me to walk towards her and things like that, and she basically got me to walk towards her until that figure was out of my sight. So I did, and I just ran over to my nan and I held her hand and I was like, "I don't know what to do, like this is so scary." And my nan then went and told me to stand back in the spot that I just was in to see if I could see the person again, and I literally was adamant that I wasn't going to. I was like, "Nan, you can't make me do this, like what if they attack me?" I was like, "What the hell?" And she said, "Trust me, it's fine, just go stand back where you was." And I was like, "Oh my god." So I went and stood back there and I could still see that person. Like I literally was face on and looking at this person now. Like I wasn't looking at my nan anymore, it wasn't out the corner of my eye. I could still literally with my own eyes see this person. But still to this day, it's just so weird to explain how that person looked. I don't know if it was a man or a woman, but I just felt like it was a man. Like the presence of that person felt masculine to me. The hairs on my arms are literally standing up so much, like I'm scarred. She then asked me to walk back to her again, and we basically repeated these steps a few times, and then I finally went back to the spot and I looked and that figure was gone. I think at first my nan was just trying to make sure it wasn't my eyes playing tricks on me or anything, but eventually I just don't really know where she was going with that. But towards the end she did say to me, "Well, it's gone now and you can't see it anymore, so there's no need to worry." And I was like, "Sis, there's someone in our house, like how are you not scared?" But my nan then told me afterwards that she always sees this black figure in our house, like always. My nan literally texted me the other day saying, "Just seen black figure in the hallway, he's watching me." So that's really nice. So the last story that I am going to tell you guys, I do have quite a few more, but I feel like this is the best one to end on. It kind of warms my heart a bit, but at the same time scares me. It's just such a weird situation. So I know for a fact that this was October 2017, and I know that because I actually had an audition the next day. This audition was something very important to me. I think a lot of you already know what this audition was. In October 2016, I had an audition for The Voice, and I'd already been through the whole process before, but this was my live performance. And anyone who knows me knows that I cannot perform in front of people. Before, this was just in front of like TV producers and things like that, but because I was scared, I couldn't sleep that night, and I literally was up until about 3 o'clock in the morning. And obviously 3 o'clock in the morning is devil's hour, I think everybody knows that. I was sat there just drifting off to sleep, and I texted my boyfriend at the time telling him that I was going to sleep, and then I put my phone down, I locked it, it was next to me, and I turned over to face the wall to go to sleep. I rarely ever sleep not facing a wall, it's so weird. And my room was pitch black, and normally we leave the landing light on, so my door was shut, but you can normally just see like a line of light. From where I was lying, obviously I couldn't see it, but if I was to turn it the other way, I would see that line of light. This just sounds really weird. So my eyes were closed, obviously I was drifting off to sleep, and you know when you wake up in the morning and it starts to get really light and your eyes kind of adjust to the brightness when your eyes are still closed? That kind of happened, and I was thinking to myself like, surely it's not morning already, this is so weird. And I opened my eyes and I could see the light on my wall getting more and more, and I could hear my door opening. So this means that my door was opening and the light from the landing was coming in. The door actually opens this way, but because the light was getting more and more, it was like I could see it coming round onto my wall, if that makes sense. So at this point I thought I probably had just made some noise and it was my nan coming in to check on me. Obviously I had such a big day tomorrow and she knew I was very nervous for it. So that's what I thought it was. I just thought it was my nan, and then I didn't really hear anyone talking. So that's what I thought it was. I thought it was my nan just coming into my room to see if I was okay, but then I didn't hear any footsteps and I thought that was really weird. My floor is very creaky and you normally can hear when somebody comes into my room, but I couldn't hear anyone. I'm really sorry about the camera angle just changing. My camera died, so that's always good, isn't it? Anyway, as I said, I couldn't hear footsteps and I thought that was a bit weird, so I actually got my phone back out and I texted my boyfriend. I'm really scared, I think there's someone in my room. And I literally was like frantically texting because I don't know, I just thought that would help my situation. I don't really know why. I think it kind of just helped the thought process in my head. I don't know why I did that. But I then locked my phone again and I just put my phone down on my mattress next to me and I was just staring at the wall for so long. Obviously when I checked my phone to text my boyfriend at the time, I saw that it was 3 o'clock, literally dead on 3 o'clock. Obviously I'm really into ghost stories and things like that, so sis, I knew that this was bad. This just got me so scared even more because I guess I really shouldn't have checked the time because that just made things so much worse for me. I just thought the worst and I thought a poltergeist was gonna come and attack me. So I was so scared, literally to the point of nearly crying. I was shaking and I was just like lay there. And this sounds really weird at this point, but I actually started moving my feet to make sure that I wasn't having sleep paralysis. I know I'd just been on my phone, but sometimes when you're having sleep paralysis or you're lucid dreaming, it feels like you can move but you actually can't. So I moved my feet to make sure and I could actually move my feet. Basically, if you're in a sleep paralysis, you are frozen still. You can't move any of your body. It's as if someone's holding you down. So obviously I thought it could have been that, but it wasn't. And then literally as I was to my point of being scared, I didn't want to turn around because I didn't kind of want to see who it was, if it was again a burglar in my room or if it was a ghost or anything. I just didn't really want to see who it was. The goosebumps on my arm again, Jesus. However, the next bit of this story is just really weird but nice. My bed didn't have anything that goes up on the side. It was kind of just a mattress and it felt like someone leant down on my bed. So as I said before, I was laying with my back towards the wall and it felt like someone got their elbows and leant down behind me. And weirdly enough, I actually dipped down. Obviously I'm laying on the mattress too, like if someone presses on the mattress I'm gonna move. And this is where I thought, holy shit, there is someone in my room and they are leant on my bed and they are literally behind me right now. But weirdly, eventually I wasn't scared of it. It was so weird. This person definitely made themselves comfortable. I think they went from this to then that, like lying onto the bed like this, not lying, so they must have been knelt on the floor and put their arms like this onto the bed. And then I'm not even joking you, I felt a hand rub my back. And obviously to anyone watching this, they'd be like, sis, you need to get out of that room, like that sounds so scary. And weirdly enough, I wasn't scared. It was kind of like it was a reassurance. I don't really know how to explain how I felt. To me, it just felt like that person was trying to calm me down and just reassure me that everything's okay and that they're not there to harm me. And it sounds so weird, but I just knew it was a presence of someone that I knew. Like I didn't feel scared at all in this moment and I felt like it literally was my nan or something behind me reassuring me that everything's gonna be okay. And then I thought to myself, oh my god, it's my granddad. And I don't mean the granddad that I live with. My granddad, who I live with at home with my nan, is alive and well. However, a few years prior to this, my granddad on my dad's side actually passed away. He passed away on my birthday, which is the 28th of July, and he always used to love hearing me sing ever since I was younger. And in that moment I just knew it was him. It was so weird, like I just wasn't scared, and literally as soon after that I fell asleep. It was so strange, like I don't even know how to explain that. I woke up in the morning and obviously I reassured my boyfriend at the time that I wasn't dead, and I started to tell my nan about it, and I also told my dad, and both of them said to me before I even could say it myself that that was my granddad. And I know to so many people that don't believe in spirits and ghosts and everything like that, they're probably thinking that is such bullshit. Of course he didn't come and visit you, like ghosts aren't real. But how else can you explain that to me? I wasn't asleep, I wasn't dreaming, I wasn't having sleep paralysis, I could move. And somebody came in and rubbed my back and it was not a living person, it was a spirit. And I don't even know how else to explain that. And I don't know whether that's just my mind trying to like calm myself and tell me it was something better than it could have been. But I really honestly and truly do think that was my granddad, and so did my family. And it was just really nice because obviously the next day I had an audition and I just felt really confident from that point onwards that I could do this. But anyway guys, that is all of my stories for now. I do have so many more. as I said before. So if you do want to see another video with all of those in, maybe I could even get my nan in and she can tell you some of her paranormal experiences. I think my nan actually did a Ouija board when she was younger, so that would be really interesting if you wanted to see that. But yeah, if you did enjoy this video, obviously make sure you give it a big thumbs up, do all the rest of the stuff, subscribe, comment down below anything else you want to see from me. All of my social media links will be in the description as well. If you want to go check out my Instagram, it is on the screen right now. That is what I am most active on. And yeah, that is it, I think. So I will see you in next week's video. Bye guys. Thanks.